All right, guys, today I'm going to do a top 10 most hated cards in Edison format. Now, I've been meaning to make this video for a while, I just haven't had time. And now this is my personal opinion and just talking to my community, my locals, and just watching Edison for the past year and a half, playing and commentating over duels. And yeah, let's get started. So we're gonna start off with, I want to give one honorable mention to Deck Devastation Virus. I didn't. This one was close, but the reason why I didn't include it because for the most part, it's been a sidecar. Now it is starting to see its way into people's main decks, but usually it's just one unless you're playing like a virus deck. But yeah, if it keeps growing in popularity in people's main decks, yeah, maybe this card can go up. It devastates a lot of decks like zombies and frogs. It can hurt other decks like Amaryllis. Sometimes it even hurts Blackwings as you hit Blizzard and Kalutes and Gale and stuff like that. All right, so we're going to start off with number 10 on the list, which is Judgment Dragon. Judgment Dragon is hated because I think because Lightsworn, people hate playing against Lightsworn. They feel it's such a luck-based deck, a casino deck. And Judgment Dragon is the reason why, and I guess just the luck factor of them milling wolves and milling enough names for JD. And it's a hard card to stop. The only card that really stops it is what? Oppression, Solemn. Everything else is going to get priority with Bottomless, Book of Moon, Torrential. Yeah, and it's just 3,000. They blow. It just ends the game most of the time when it hits the field. And they can get it back with Beckoning, with Monster Reincarnation. They can Gold Sark it. It's one of the most Gold Sark cards in Edison. So yeah, definitely belongs on here. Number 10, Judgment Dragon. I think it would be higher if Lightsworn was a more played deck. But I think it's not enough people play it currently. All right, number 9 is Substitute. A lot of people hate playing against frogs, and this is the reason why. This card is ahead of its time. Wait, why did I do that? Yeah. Ahead of its time. I've heard many people say it doesn't feel like an Edison card because it's not once per turn. They just go through their deck, and they have such easy access to it. It's at 3. You can bring it out with 1 for 1. You can search it with Sangan. And also people do the salvage play where they'll discard a water for swap frogs, send the Substitute, salvage it back, and then they'll dupe block you, get rid of all the frogs, and turns on. You get plenty of waters for Miracle Fusion. You get plenty of waters or you get dumping enough monsters for Pot of Avarice. So yeah, definitely. And Frogs being such a strong deck, one of the most successful decks, is another reason why it's up there at number 9. Now, number 8 is Future Fusion. Future Fusion, I think, is hated just because it's good in a lot of decks, like Dragon Turbo, Disaster Dragon, even Diva Hero Beat, even Frog Heroes will sometimes splash it. You know, you dump a water monster and a hero, and then if you don't get rid of the Future Fusion, they get an absolute 0, which is hard to deal with. And especially in Dragon Turbo, like I've watched so many games and I've played against Dragon Turbo where if they draw their Future Fusion or if they just activate one draw card and draw into Future Fusion, you just almost always lose the game, especially when they go first. Yeah, I hate playing against Dragon Turbo. I've lost so many games. It kind of feels like playing against Lightsworn with Dragon Turbo, because it just comes down to a lot of times it just comes down to do they brick or do they don't brick. Do they draw into their Heavy Storm or not? And yeah, definitely one of the most hated cards. Number 7 is Dark Arm Dragon. I think this one's higher than like JD and some of the other cards because it's used in 2 of the most popular decks, like Black Wings and Bayou. 2 tier, I guess you could call them tier 1 decks. And yeah, Dark Arm just ends the game. They take 3, it gets priority like JD. Not many cards can stop it, and because like Oppression is one of the cards that can stop it, but not every deck can main deck Oppression. So yeah, they drop Dark Arm, wipe the field. And a lot of times you get OTK'd, so yeah. Dark Arm, definitely one of the most hated cards. And number 6, speaking of, is Royal Oppression. Against certain decks, this card is just auto win. Like almost all Blackwing and Bayou players side this card. Now the reason it's not in everyone's main deck is just because it's not that good against Bayou, and it's okay against Blackwings, but it can be pretty bad against them at times too. But yeah, it just stops every special summon. Like it's a floodgate. It's like the only really good floodgate in Edison. Stops everything. Substitute, Diva, Future Fusion, Dark Arm, JD, Lumina, you name it. Like this card, I've seen it win so many games. Stops Miracle Fusion, yeah. If you can't out it, that's why some people main deck Dust Tornado and like Trap Stun to stop this card, like zombie players, GB players. Yeah, I think if Bayou wasn't such a popular and strong deck, maybe this card would see its way in like Blackwing's main deck. But yeah, All right, that's number 6. Now we get number 5, which is heavy. Heavy is just, I think this card's hated because that one, and a lot of people lose games to heavy. Like you'll be at a tournament, people are like, yeah, I lost to heavy. You know, he heavied me and did his combo, like played a Miracle Fusion, or did, especially against Dragon Turbo, they just go off, drop double red med on you, or Black Wings will heavy you and then Shuro Whirlwind, or drop Dark Arm. It's just, yeah, this card just ends games. And even though people play it safe and just set one, but still, you know, just getting heavy a lot of times, it just ends games. So that's number 5. Number 4 is Black Whirlwind. I think because this is, again, one of the most popular decks of the format. And a lot of times, when you hear people say they lost to Black Wings, they'll usually say, yeah, he opened Whirlwind all 3 games, or he opened double Whirlwind, or I got rid of the first Whirlwind and he drew into the second Whirlwind. And Black Wings, again, being one of the most popular decks. And I think also another reason why Black Whirlwind is hated is because people consider Black Wings to be not a skillful deck. And that's another reason people were like, oh, I lost to some guy who just didn't know what he was doing. He just played Black Whirlwind. So, yeah, definitely one of the most hated cards. Number 3 is Return from the Different Dimension. This card, I've seen it win so many games with Vayu. I think that's why it's up there. I think because Los won so many games on the channel with Return, and not just him, other Vayu players as well, where they'll return and end the game. Like, man, I lost. If he didn't, I lost because he had Return. Is the thing that I hear people say a lot. You know, you get the 2 Sirokkos and double pumped. Sometimes play through Gores, or you'll like make a Black Rose and you'll bring out like 2 Vayus, a Sirocco and a Plague, and then you'll Black Rose your opponent and wipe the field, and then double Vayu, and it's a really good card. Steals so many games, so yeah, definitely up there. And I think because Vayu won so much and does well, it's one of the most played decks. That's why it's all the way up here, number 3. Now, number 2, this one you could argue should have been number 1, but the reason why it's not number 1 is because you can't draw it. I've drawn it dead a lot mid to late game, and it's against certain matchups. And sometimes you'll lose because you're like, oh my god, I drew Dushu when he had like 1 card in his hand or 2 cards in their hand. But outside, but when it's good, I've seen it win so many games. Like if your opponent just opens it, and I've lost so many games to it because my opponent opens Dushu, and like they get the best card out of my hand, and then they know my hand, so they can play around everything. Then they'll know, oh, you don't have Gores, oh, you don't have heavy, oh, you can't stop this. So yeah, this one is one of the most hated cards. People want it to be banned, so like if we were to have a ban list for Edison, this one will probably be one of the first ones that gets hit. Now, number 1 is good old Brain Control. I think the reason this is the most hated card is because of just how many games it steals. Or you'll be in a good spot and you'll be thinking, man, I'm fine as long as they don't have Brain Control. That's usually what goes on in my head. Like, if I'm playing Frogs and they'll have like a soft lock, a sub, and 1 dupe, I'm like, I'm okay as long as they don't have Brain Control. And then they'll brain your guy and then attack over the Substitute, synchro with the dupe. Or if you have a double dupe lock, they'll go Brain Caius. That's like the number 1 combo, Brain Caius. Another one that I hate is when they Brain Control my Dark Arm. Like, you'll drop Dark Arm and you can't kill him. Like, there's been a lot of times where, I remember where I'll attack with Dark Arm, they'll drop Gores, I'll pop their field, and then they'll brain my Dark Arm, pop their 1 Dark, which is Gores, to get rid of my Dark Arm. It's just... Or if they're playing a dark deck, they just brain your Dark Arm. Like, I've seen some people, they'll, like, pop their own Dark Arm if they can't kill their opponent just to play around Brain Control. And yeah, obviously there's been times when I'll have an Ab-Zero out in the field. I'm like, okay, the only way I lose, like, I have an Ab-Zero, so I'm not afraid. It's going to be hard for them to kill me unless if they draw Brain Control. Then they'll Brain Control me and end the game. Or people will win games that are not just because their opponent's low on life, and they'll just brain them in game. And I think that's why it's the most hated card. Anyways, let me know, guys, how you feel about this list. If any changes, if some cards were too high, some cards were too low, or what you would add, take out of the list. And also check out the link in the description. I have a coupon code for 5% off singles and product at Epic Cards and Games. First text the code is my first and last name, Oscar Zelaya, all caps. Yeah, it's only product and singles. I got told that yesterday. I thought it was from merch too, but no. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.